Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday night trucks. Glad to have you back here on the Racers Elite Network. I am your broadcaster, John Ross, and I am joined by, as usual, Russ Martin. Russ, how are you doing tonight?
Well, John, we're back with Racers Elite on a Tuesday night. We're at a short track with IRP, first of 3 short tracks in a row. And things are going to get exciting tonight, and I'm ready to see what these drivers have in store for us tonight.
I will tell you that I'm really excited about tonight. IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. It is a short track. Not only is it a short track, Russ, but I turned a couple of laps here. We're going to be under the lights. This track is very loose on the exit. If you try to get the power down early in these trucks, it's right up against the wall. Man, I cannot wait to see what these drivers are going to do. We got 14 truck drivers going to take the green flag tonight, and this will be one of 2 additional races that we're going to have before we go into the playoffs, Russ. So right now, 3 races. We count IRP, and then we're going to have Eldora coming up, and then we have one other one in Richmond that's going to come up next week, and then we're going to get into our playoffs.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that Eldora race. You know, these trucks used to race at Eldora in real life, and they ran on iRacing for a little while. And then when the trucks kind of backed away from racing at Eldora, it kind of stopped on iRacing. So it's always fun to watch these trucks get sideways on the dirt at Eldora, and I can't wait for that one to come up here in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's going to be super, super exciting as we're going to be able to call that. And I have not broadcast a dirt track race, so I cannot wait to see that one. But we're going to do a quick rundown of the points here, Russ. And Brandon Honeycutt is a 3-time winner in this series right now on his 6 starts that he has. He is going to take the #1 spot in points. Blair Holloman is going to be in 2nd. Alex Teft in 3rd. Kinsley Smith is going to be in 4th. And rounding out your top 5 is going to be Sean Dunaway. And they're all going to take the green flag tonight as we continue to go through our qualifying. So let me see if I can just hide our points here, and we're going to show our let's hide the ticker. Let's show the tower. As we can see right now, Roman, and I did see him a little bit in the practice, had a really fast truck. Also, that 98 truck, 3rd on the grid right now, Russ. Do not sleep on that driver, as he showed a lot of speed as well.
Yeah, Rowan, I mean, he laid down a 21.590 in practice, and not quite able to back that up right now in qualifying, but yeah, it looks like he's definitely got some speed to contend with here tonight.
Yeah, as we've got just a couple of minutes left before the end of this, I can tell you that it is going to be extremely tricky getting onto pit road. You're going to want to do that under caution. If not, you're going to try to run this thing out. I do believe that these truck drivers are going to have enough fuel to make this thing from the start to finish if they absolutely needed to. But I will tell you, the other thing is you're going to see some comers and goers. This track is very unique in the fact that it's going to run a 3/4 to almost up against the wall line. And you can hurt that right front tire in these trucks if you overdrive entry.
Yeah, absolutely. These short tracks, it's very easy to overcook your right fronts, especially running up on the high side. Usually the bottom side is a little bit more of a tire saver, but now here at IRP, the bottom line is not the way to go.
Yeah, it's really not. Now, you could try to make some passes, but it's going to flatten out just a little bit at the bottom. So when you come up to about mid-track up against the wall, there's a little bit more banking that you have there. And so I think you can ride that. And I think you're going to see a lot of drivers run that middle line. There's a couple of seams going through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 that you can get a lot of rotation on that truck if you get some tire wear. So I think you're going to see some truck drivers try to hit those seams and get some rotation out, but you're going to see them start about middle track in both sides of the track early on, and then as they get some tire wear, they're going to start to migrate up to the top, where you're going to see a lot of drivers get into the wall on exit. You are going to see, this is one of those tracks that are so unique. Going to be a lot of storylines going throughout the rest of the night.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm sitting here and I'm watching Brandon Honeycutt. He's already turned in his qualifying laps, and it looks like he's out there trying to work on some pit entry. And it looks like he's having a little bit of trouble, John. This could get interesting. These guys have to make 3 flag pit stops.
I will tell you, you do not want to do that because that pit entry has really like an entry lane that's going into 3, and that you do not want to do. So let's see if we can get ourselves. We're gonna tone this intro music down here, Russ, and we're gonna see if we can try to grab our grid as we go through qualifying. So let me see if I can turn off our tower, and we're going to show this as Rowan Lloyd, like we talked about before, really fast in practice, is going to grab that pole. Alex Gates is going to be in second. Alex, one of those guys that really likes to take the back and try to drive to the front, so nice to see him out here qualifying. Andrew Teft is going to be third. Brandon Honeycutt, your 3-time winner so far this season, is going to be fourth. Blair Holloman, last year's points winner, is going to be in fifth. Curtis Ecker is going to be in sixth. Brandon Sanfilippo is going to be in 7th, Truth Hoke in 8th, Sean Dunaway in 9th, and then Alex Teft is going to be in 10th.
Yeah, and Kirby Wainscott, he's going to start in P11. Then somehow this John Ross guy, he's going to broadcast at the same time. No, he's not going to be in the field, but Rob Yost is going to end up starting in P12, and then Troy Thomas, Philip Archibald, and Jesse Fox are going to round out the 15-car field we have here tonight.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I am really, really excited to see this one tonight, folks. As you can see, 15 drivers are going to take this green flag tonight. And, man, I got to tell you, there's going to be so many storylines coming through here. We're going to pop back up our tower. Actually, we're going to hide that ticker. We're going to go back with the tower. So a lot of storylines coming through as everybody starts to kind of settle in for the rest of the season. This is kind of the point in the season where you know what you got. A lot of these drivers, the 15 that are going to take the field tonight, they've run against each other for a couple of races, about 5 or 6 races so far. So this is the time that you can really settle in and the cream starts to rise to the top. A lot of these drivers start jockeying and really looking for those points before they go into these playoffs.
Yeah, the longer you run around these guys, you know how you can and can't, or who you can and can't really run around. So these guys have figured it out. They know what they got, who they're racing against. So they're out there right now. It's a short track. Some guys, are better at short tracks than they are the intermediates or super speedways. And, Rowan Lloyd, is not really a name that we've seen up at the front of the field in qualifying. He could potentially be one of those guys that are really good at short tracks. So it's going to be interesting to see, who comes and who goes. But like you said, every point matters at this point as we're winding down this regular season.
Yes, sir. And you can see that truck, that pace truck that you have, the lights are already off as we're probably going to make one more lap around this IRP Raceway. And I will tell you, this is such a unique track, and it's going to be fantastic to watch here underneath of the lights as these drivers are not going to be what we would consider on iRacing to really be bottom feeder tracks, which is you kind of stick to the yellow line. You are not going to see that tonight, folks. You're going to see middle of the track. You're going to see up against the wall. You're going to see some door banging. You're going to see some drivers really wear out the right-hand side of this truck. And, man, I cannot wait as you see that he is going to dip off, and we are going to go green. IRP, 140 laps. Rowan Lloyd is going to bring them to the start-finish line. And here we go, folks. As you can tell, first and second, the 6177 underway. Green flag, the 61 with a fantastic jump. He's going to drop right down here to the bottom, get a great run. Andrew Teft looking early to get that lead, Russ, as he is going to shoot down to the bottom. He wants to take this lead early.
Yeah, he's digging down there on the bottom. Maybe he found something that other drivers weren't able to, but he's looking to make a pass for the lead right here, and he gets it done coming to the line.
I can tell you, he put a lot of time and effort into this track. I could tell when the way he was practicing earlier on, and he is going to shoot out to the lead nice and early here. As you can see, this 98 truck not only just to the lead, but taking a 7/10 of a lead as Gates is now going to come into second position. Brandon Honeycutt already up to third.
Yeah, Honeycutt's moving on his way up, but something that we got Truth Hoke is spinning back there, but something I just noticed is Rowan Lloyd ended up coming down pit road, so I don't know if he might have had a drive-through to start this race, or what happened there? But Owen Lloyd was on pit road early, John.
Yeah, we'll check in on that, Russ, as maybe Rowan was getting a black flag for maybe jumping the start. Let's take a look back here at Truth and see what happened. Going to come out of that turn at that high side. Oh, and looks like he's just going to get right into the back of the 8 truck. And both of those trucks are going to get into the outside wall. Let's go back and take a look at it again. So it looks like he just mistimed that entry, and it looks like he's going to get into Curtis Ecker going into 1. Yeah, he's just going to run right in the back of him there, just misjudging the entry point.
Yeah, got in there a little hot. And no harm, no foul. You know, they got a fast repair. Didn't look like either driver got much damage. So get them in the pits, get some tires, some damage fixed if you got any. Get back out, rack them up, stack them up. Let's go back racing, boys.
Yeah, I hear that, man. And you know, short track racing, that's going to happen. You know, it's always interesting to see the discord after a short track. You've got Martinsville, Bristol, you know, IRP here. It's just, you know, these drivers, it's a love-hate relationship. They'll love them. 1.5 mile tracks. You get those short tracks and you know, so some tempers will flare. But that's what happens to you here on the service. You know, you've got these short tracks and everybody, you know, has a different braking zone, a different throttle zone, and you're just really on top of each other. But really interested to see how the rest of this race is going to go. We are only 5 laps in. Andrew Teff making a strong move, Russ, down at the bottom of that turn in 3 and 4, getting beside him, making that pass in 1 and 2, just deciding to take that bottom line while those tires are fresh, making that pass.
Yeah, I mean, he was just he just made that decision of, hey, I'm gonna be aggressive at the start of this thing. I want to get up front. I want to be ahead of all the possible cautions that are to come throughout this race. I'd rather be up front right now. He made an aggressive move to the inside. He made it stick. He made it work. Great move for Andrew Teff, taking over the lead here early on.
You can almost tell the mentality that some of these drivers have as they come out from one night to the next. And I can just tell you in practice, I saw Andrew running quite a few laps, and he had that mentality where he wanted to come out here and race. Another guy that we saw and we talked about a little bit earlier was Brandon Honeycutt in that 13 truck. If I am calling this race early on, it's hard to kind of go against a couple of these guys, but I think my call is going to be for this 98 truck. I really feel like, you know, in practice he showed a ton of speed. He was the fastest in practice, and it looked like he was coming out here on a mission tonight.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and then even, you know, I think 2 weeks ago they were at Martinsville. He had a lot of speed, so he's definitely got speed at these short tracks. We'll see how it plays out for him. Looks like we're going back green here now.
Yes, we are. So here we go. We're going to be 7 laps into 140, going back green. Andrew Teff going to bring them down and get that fire up. We're in the Geico restart zone. What a great jump that he is going to get. Brandon Honeycutt's going to get the same kind of a jump. Again, just wrapping the bottom of that turn in turns 1 and 2 is really benefiting Andrew, as he is going to jump out to a 4/10 of a lead, as you can see on our battle box here on the bottom right-hand corner. Gates is going to hold on to second. Holloman is going to be in third and put Honeycutt back in fourth.
Yeah, Gates and Holloman, you know, running that little bit of a higher line. They were able to hold off Brandon on the bottom and able to hold and defend their positions. It looks like Honeycutt's just falling back just a little bit as these top 3 starting to pull away.
Yes, they are. And, you know, you can probably guarantee that Honeycutt is really working that tire angle, because, again, you know, this is really hard on the right front of these trucks as Andrew's wanting to get that clean air. It looks like Blair Holloman is going to get into the wall just a little bit. Not a whole lot of a slowdown by being into the wall, but he's going to start chewing on the back bumper of this 77 of Gates.
And you get up there by that wall, sometimes it can just act like a vacuum cleaner and suck you into it. But short track like this, if you're up there, you're not going to have too much damage from that. Sometimes you can use it to your advantage, just kind of brushing yourself off that wall a little bit.
Yeah, so nose to tail is Gates and Holloman. As you can see, Holloman deciding to go about a lane and a half up higher than what that 77 truck is. I will say that 77 and the 98 are going to start to migrate up toward the top as they start to get a little bit more wear on that right front. But Blair really trying to make that outside work early and often. As you can see now, the 77 starting to come back to the 98 truck just a little bit.
Yeah, might have found a little bit of something up there, on the high side, getting a little bit on Andrew there.
Yeah, and nose to tail. As you can look here, Alex Teff really looking at the back end of Honeycutt's 13 truck. Sanfilippo just right behind him. And looks like you've got Yost is going to come in, and he is looking underneath of Brandon. See if we can go back here and take a look at him. As you're going to see just a little Kirby getting a little loose on the exit, and that's one of those things you got to watch out for tonight, Russ, is really putting the power down a little bit early and getting loose on the exit of these turns.
Yeah, absolutely. I say it time and time again when we broadcast these truck races. These trucks are very loose in the rear end, and you get on these short tracks. A little bit cooler here tonight, so not real high track temp. Right now, it looks like we're looking at about a mid-70 track temp. A little on the cooler side, which gives just a little bit of extra grip. But John, these trucks are very loose in the rear end, a lot of the time. So on a short track, that could be detrimental if you get on that throttle early.
Yeah, Truth Hope trying to make his way back up, as you saw that earlier incident causing that first caution. And it looks like, oh, he is going to get loose on the exit, just like we talked about before. But he, again, is really working the outside. He's going to dip just a little bit below Sean Dunaway on that turn. But you can see Sean going over to that flat, and you can almost see that 0-1 truck go from a bank to a flat. You can see him unloading the left side of those tires on that truck, as Truth really taking that more traditional line, getting great runs off of the turn. So this battle is still going to wage here for your top 10 as the 01 and the 55 just going at it.
Yeah, they've gotten themselves single file for right now, but you keep getting those runs off the corner, I'm sure somebody's going to take a look here soon.
Yeah, Andrew Teff still out to an 0.8 of a lead right now on Alex Gates as we continue to look at the tightest battle that we have right here on the track right now. Troy Thomas not that far behind in that 3 truck, working that outside line as well. So you can start to see these different lines coming in here early and often. As you can see, your pole sitter in that 61 of Roy Lloyd sitting back there behind Troy Thomas, trying to find a lane to go down. So don't sleep on that truck here, Russ, as he showed a lot of speed early in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of looking at the line here, and talking about movers, or comers and goers. We're talking about Rob Yost not that long ago. Looks like he's up about 6 positions, and Alex Steffen at 43, he's up 5 already. So we got some movers already, John.
Yes, we do. Dunaway, going to take a look underneath of this 99 truck. And again, you can see those very distinct lines, both of those lines very strong all the way through this track. And so this 01 driver just a little bit more right front. And you can see he's got a little bit better turn there in the apex of that turn, as it looks like the 99 truck's going to get into the wall. That's going to open the door for Truth. Truth now side by side with this 99 truck. Again, it does look like Truth has a little bit better turn in the center. And I believe that's what's creating that issue for the 99. Truth can just get back on the throttle a little sooner.
Yeah, that middle lane, get on the throttle just a little bit sooner, but it looks like that high side gets just a little bit of a better run on the corner exit.
Yeah, Holloman is going to make that pass. He is going to come into second, and we're going to see if we can ride on board with this driver and go into his cockpit as he is chasing that 98 truck of Andrew Teft. Andrew now out to a 1.4 second lead. And folks, that is a big lead on a short track. So he has really found a rhythm. And he is nailing that thing. As you can see, he is really hugging. He is catching that second seam, or really what would be the first seam from that yellow line. Andrew Teft is allowing that truck to drift up just a little bit and then being able to throttle back off on exit and having that straight line on exit. You can see Blair still searching for the line that is going to get him caught back up to this 98 truck.
Yeah, you can see his wheel input, and he's kind of putting a little bit more wheel into it than we're used to seeing, but very steady, very easy, and then it just kind of snap it back on corner exit, straighten that truck back out. So looks like it's a little bit of a little tight in the corners right now, but we'll see if he can catch any ground here to Andrew Teft.
Yeah, what you really got to watch out for here, Russ, is the throttle back up on the exit. and you can hear really Blair trying to take his time, as you can almost see him counter steer as he goes back to the right on the exit of those turns. And one, that means his truck's a little bit loose, and that's a good thing here because you're getting off of the right front and you're putting it back on that right rear, so that's a great thing. But the second part of that is he really can't throttle up full like he wants to be able to run that 98 truck down, because he has to fear being able to make contact at that wall. As you can see now, Blair searching, going all the way back down to the bottom of these turns to try to find a little bit of speed. But I want to go and take a look at Andrew as he is really setting some fast laps. I mean, even last lap, you know, a little bit quicker than your second place driver. But again, just really hitting that seam, trying to get some rotations. Blair's going to get a little loose behind him, but doing a fantastic job here in this 98 truck.
Yeah, you know, he's just running his line, and he's still stretching it out. I mean, he's gaining almost another 4/10 here just in the last couple of laps. So he's still stretching it out, John. He's found something running this middle of the upper lane right now.
Yeah, I believe he has. He's very comfortable too. And let's see if we can go on board, because I can just hear by his throttle inputs just really comfortable. And look, you know, you just don't see him really fighting that wheel. It's not moving left to right a whole lot. You know, as you can see that orange stripe there in the wheel, he's just found a nice, comfortable line for him. He's not fighting that truck on exit. And just like we saw Blair, who was kind of counter steering on the exit of 2, you can see that Andrew really not having to do that, as he's just got this thing nailed down and is just out here turning laps. Now up to a 2.2 second lead over your second place driver.
Yeah, you know, throttle control has a lot to do with it. It's really nice if you don't have to worry about that rear end stepping out on you, like we saw right there with Brandon Honeycutt.
Talking about stepping out.
He stepped it out just a little bit there.
Yes, sir. So we call that, listen, this is pre-Eldora practice as these drivers are going to get loose on the exit of these turns. But he is starting to stare down the 77 driver of Alex Gates now on the exit of 4. So he is coming around. Brandon Honeycutt, one of your drivers that will methodically think about the track, think about tires, and you're going to see him get better and better as this race goes on here, Russ. But right now, trying to get and wrestle a podium position out of the 77 truck.
Yeah, you know, he's your current points leader, like we talked about earlier on, so he definitely knows how to get his way around these tracks. And you know, I watch him in practice a lot, and you know, it makes you question sometimes, you know, how he's going to do, because I see him spinning out and that all the time. But he's finding the max. You know, he's really searching for what's the max that I can, or what's the max I can get into the corner, or how soon can I get off of the corner. He's searching around during practice. He's one driver I've noticed he really utilizes the practice session to the best of his ability. And that shows when he comes out here during these races.
Yeah, I agree. And he is breathing down the neck of that 77 truck. We're going to keep walking through this field just a little bit. As you can see, Alex Teft here in this 43 truck, Home Depot driving. Sanfilippo just right behind him. And I would think that Brandon is another driver in that 12 truck that is extremely patient. We've seen him really look, and we're going to go right back up here, as it does look like Brandon now starting to put a ton of pressure on Alex. Really looking to get clean air on the nose of that car, as he's going to enter just a little bit lower with his truck, as he is going to get extremely loose on exit. And every single time you do that, Russ, a little bit more wear on that right rear tire.
Yeah, every time that rear end steps out, you're burning just a little bit of rubber off of that. But as long as you can keep it under him, hey, we're going.
Yeah, Sean Dunaway getting past a little bit earlier on has now settled into that 7th spot, not doing a bad job, as you know, as we take a look at his lap times. That last lap time at a 22.89, about 2/10 of a lap off of what your leader in Andrew Teft is doing. But we're going to go right back here. Is Philip Archibald, really an odd line that he's running now. You can see him. He's actually, instead of working higher up the track, he's starting to work lower down. So you can see him now taking that diamond, and what we consider that, is Truth Ho's going to get loose right behind him. But you can see this 99 truck really trying to diamond, going up, hitting the apex of that turn and trying to run down to get good drives off.
Yeah, you know, there's certain tracks that the diamond timing the corners really work at, and maybe he's able to find that here.
Yes, he has. Truth Hoke getting a little bit loose in our screen behind us as we were talking about that 99 truck is now straightening this thing back out. Troy Thomas really breathing down the neck of that 55 truck. 61 of Rowan Lloyd, your pole sitter, right behind these drivers. So he is up to 11th position now. He fell way, way back, but maybe that driver back on the climb up in this field.
Yeah, like I said, we saw him come down pit road there early on in the first couple of laps after he lost the lead to Andrew Teft, and finding his way back up through the field.
Yes, he is. Robert Yost, in that really, what would you call that, the new Dale Jr. theme that he's got on this truck here? Doing a fantastic job here in 12th. We've got Kirby Wainscott right behind him in the 10 truck. Both of those drivers really running good quality lines, as we can see them, just staying inside of themselves, running what they can, trying to save a little bit of tire. And I feel like both of these drivers doing what they need to do to really get a good finish tonight.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Maybe back here these guys are just more worried about saving their tires. Maybe trying to stretch a run out a little bit farther than their competitors. We'll have to see. See if they're going to be able to go any further of a run than the leaders are.
Yeah, Curtis back in 15th. We saw him get into that tussle with Truth Hoke a little bit earlier in this race. Probably had to take a fast repair, and if he did, he's just sitting back, just trying to turn some laps now, waiting for that caution so that he can start pushing it. So that is going to be your rundown through the field. That is the 15 drivers that are out here on the track, as we're going to go right back up here to Andrew Teft. And I got to tell you, you might not be able to see it, but you can tell it on that timing tower, a 4-second lead as he is just continuing to walk away from this field, Russ. 44 laps of 144 and 4.5-second lead on this field on this short track. Man, I will tell you, he is on a mission tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about him not really that long ago being about 1.8 seconds out in front. Now he's over 4 seconds. He's definitely found some speed, and he taking care of his stuff, and he's going to be the one to beat tonight, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. As now you can see that the 13 truck, we talked about him a little bit earlier. He was on the back bumper of that 77. He's been able to get around that 77 truck, and he's going to start eyeing Blair Holloman in that 32 for that second place. But my goodness, they are probably about a quarter of a track away from your leader here in Andrew Teft, as we are now 47 laps into 140. So, man, the laps are clicking away. Andrew Teft out to an amazing 4-second lead so far on this field.
Yeah, he's a class act right now, but like we said, Honeycutt's finding something. He's running down Blair Holloman. 50 laps into 140, there's still quite a ways to go, so anything can happen.
Yeah, I see that line has not changed for Andrew, as he's going to take, you can hear him just kind of hiccup on the throttle just a little bit as he started to get a little tight on the exit of that turn, but really looking at hitting seam. So he is on entry trying to grab that seam that is one line up from the yellow line. As you can see him there just straddling that seam, getting up to that second one, allowing the truck to rotate, and just really watching his exit. As you can see now in front of him, Curtis Ecker is going to be the first truck that he is going to be looking at to put a lap down. If you go a lap down this early, Russ, it's an uphill battle for the rest of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. And then at that point, you're kind of hoping and praying for a caution so you can get your lap back. But right now, these guys are just kind of running single file and clicking the laps off here fairly quick. So, you go a lap down under green, and it's going to be tough to get it back unless you see a yellow.
Yeah, really dominating performance so far from Andrew Teft, as now he's going to be about 4.8 seconds up on Blair Holloman. But we're going to go right back here, as now you can see Brandon Honeycutt going to be down low, trying to make that pass, put him in second position. 13 truck, 3 wins so far on the season, putting Blair Holloman back in third position. That 77 of Alex Gates, I will tell you, right back here in fourth, not that far behind. Just a fantastic run by this driver early on in this race.
Yeah, he's holding his own. But he looks like he might be getting run down right now by Alex Stepp in the 43 truck. But Brandon, old horseshoe's at it again, as we like to joke. He's at it again. He's going to start seeing if he can run down this 98 truck of Andrew Tiff.
Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on the lap times as now. Honeycutt has some clean air. We'll see what he can do. Has he been saving, or is just Andrew just on another level so far tonight? And it looks to be that way as we are now about 87 laps to the finish here. So these things are clicking off pretty quickly. 77-43 in a good battle. Brandon not that far behind in that 12 truck. So I believe this is about the point now where you're going to see some of these drivers really struggling with that right front, and these other drivers that have been saving it are going to start making a huge march through the field.
Yeah, and it begs the question. We're 55 laps into a 140 lap race. We think they have enough fuel, not 100%, but is there a question of coming for tires at all if you're burning them up? I mean, we're only 15 cars in this field. So, I mean, it could be a possibility, but we'll have to see.
Well, I got to tell you, I think that you're looking at right now the last lap turned by Andrew Teft at a 22.8. His best lap at a 21.8. So you have about a second fall off right now. So by the time you get to halfway, which would be about 70 laps, about 14 laps, you can look at gaining about a second a lap for quite some time on fresh tires. So I do believe there's going to be some benefit there. But again, it's really hard to get down pit road. Let's just take a look back. That last lap, Andrew Teft at a 22.79. Honeycutt at a 22.75. So Honeycutt just a slight bit faster, but certainly with a 5.2 second gap. We're going to have to do a little bit more if we're going to have a race here for the first position.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, you can't count Brandon out. I'm sure he's thinking, okay, what do I got to do to run this 98 down? So we'll see if he can get it done.
Yes, we will. As we continue to go through the field here, Philip Archibald is going to be staring at the back end of this 01 truck of Sean Dunaway. So Philip having a great, and we talked about him just a little bit earlier, Russ, where he was really hugging that yellow line and working that diamond. And he is starting to do that to perfection as he is catching this 01 truck here. And you can see him getting clean air on the front of that truck as he's going to dive down about 3 lanes below that 01 truck to try to get a better run off. But this is one of your closest battles here on the track.
Yeah, and I always like talking about Philip here because I would have to say he's probably got one of if not my favorite paint schemes in Racers Elite Truck Series with that old school Winston Noble paint scheme. I love how that paint scheme looks.
Oh, Truth Hoke once again in the wall. Damage to the right-hand side of this truck. Looks like he got in just a little too hard, slid the tires, and is going to get into the wall about midway through the turn, and he is going to come in and make that pit stop early. 61 laps into 140. Truth Hoke down on pit lane. And I think now you can see Andrew Teft starting to put quite a few drivers a lap down as the 69 truck of Jesse Fox is going to go a lap down. He is now looking at Curtis Ecker as the next driver that he is going to put a lap down. But now the time starts to roll. I do believe you're going to see, Russ, these drivers looking at green flag pit stops. That is something that's going to be crazy here at IRP as we are going to be about 5 to 6 laps off of halfway.
Yeah, like I said, I talked about it earlier on. I was watching guys trying to make some pit entries, and it didn't look like they were having a good time at all. So we'll have to see what happens if these guys have to start making green flag pit stuff.
Yeah, it is going to be something else. As you can see, the two teammates here side by side, the 98 truck trying to put that A truck a lap down, and he is going to be able to make that pass happen, and he's going to get right back to running the line that he wants to run, which is that early seam right to the middle seam on the exit of every one of these turns here, as he is now going to be 66 laps into here, or 65 into 140. just doing a fantastic job. He is now going to be 4.21 seconds ahead of Honeycutt. Now, Honeycutt able to run a little bit quicker lap times the past couple of laps, but he was not in traffic. So I do believe you're going to see that even out. But even then, he is about a full straightaway ahead of your second place driver.
Yeah, he's just got to manage his stuff at this point. I mean, you know, if they do have to come down and make a pit stop, you know, it'll even itself out. But at this point, Andrew's just got to manage his tires, manage his throttle inputs, and I don't think he's going to have a problem with this one. We're approaching halfway.
Yeah, we are about 3 laps away from halfway as it looks like the 77 truck really starting to put the pressure on the back end of this 32 of Blair Holloman. Alex Gates with a fantastic run so far. He showed a lot of promise here in the practice earlier on, and he is putting that to test here on the track in race trim as he is now looking underneath. He's starting to chew on the back bumper. I do believe you're going to see him. Oh, as Blair is going to get loose on the exit, really trying to push that truck. And I believe this passes, at 77 into the wall.
They're driving hard. We're not even halfway yet. They're really pushing it.
Truth Hoke on those fresh tires. We saw him come into the pits a little bit early on, about lap 61, as he is going to make these passes nice and easy, about a second a lap faster than these other drivers. Alex really clawing and scratching to get every foot up at that he could on that 32 truck, now touching the wall back about 0.3 of a second. Blair is now going to come down pit road.
I wonder if he got some damage from collecting the wall at all, or if this is just a standard halfway pit stop, because we're now on lap 70, which is halfway. So
I think you're going to see this about halfway. They're going to cut it in half. We're going to go right back up here to Andrew, as Andrew now is going to take this thing right down pit road. I do believe you're going to see Honeycutt come by over here on the right-hand side as he is going to stay out. You do see him pass there. Andrew coming down. I do not believe that you're going to have any penalties at all. Looks like it was nice and smooth down pit road. But this is going to be a big thing here, Russ, as you see Blair Holloman trying to get out now. The 98 truck, a good quality stop here, sliding into his pits, as now Honeycutt going to make his debut down pit road halfway through this race.
Well, he made it down there better than I saw him making it in practice. So well done, Andrew.
Yeah, very well done. That's going to turn this over to Alex in that 43 truck. Now, Alex, again, really your fingers are crossed here as you can see Andrew, his brother, coming off of pit road. But Alex trying to look for maybe a caution. Run this thing as long as you can. See if somebody makes a mistake on the exit or entry of the pit road. Try to get a caution, catch all of these drivers just a lap down. I believe that is his strategy, as is the 12 truck and the 01. Philip Archibald still out. Kirby Wainscott still out. And then you've got Andrew Teft, your first driver, that's going to be one lap with 4 fresh tires there in 6th position.
Well, it might not be a bad thing. Like I said, we've seen it before where we get a caution on green flag pit stop. So might not be bad to ride it out for a little bit longer just to see if you can possibly get one drawn for you.
Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle because
and there it is.
There's
the caution.
Is the caution, one lap down. So you got right now your first through, and it shows Andrew as being on the back end of the lead lap. I don't believe that's going to happen because Alex, he just passed. My goodness, Russ. So listen to that. As this thing shapes up, he just passed Alex to get himself back on the tail end of the lead lap. He is going to make that all the way back around. Your first place driver, been so dominant early, now getting to go all the way back around. So it looks like this is going to be Jesse Fox crashing here. Let's take a look and see what happened.
Yeah, loose coming out the corner there and looped it around.
Yep, not a whole lot to tell there on the exit of Ford. Just, again, these trucks, really hard to drive. You power down a little early. That's what's going to happen to you. You get a little rotation on the back end of those tires, and before you know it, you were around. That's what happened to Jesse. That's what's caused this caution. But we're going to go back and see if we can go live back up front because you're going to have the 43 truck, Kirby, San Felipe, all of these guys are going to be back on, and you're going to have quite a few people on the tail end of the lead lap. So some of these drivers that already come down, they're going to be okay here, Russ, because they're going to take the wave around. No laps on their tires. They're going to be on the back end, but with 15 trucks out here on the field, I don't think you're going to have an issue. They're just going to have to work their way back up through the field. And it does look like Alex.
I was just gonna
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was just gonna say, who this caution benefits the most is Andrew Teft. He had just gotten his lap back by passing his brother on track before that caution came out. This is all going to shake out, and Andrew Teft is going to take back over this race lead after just being a lap down from making his green flag pit stop.
Yeah, you really couldn't have timed that any better. Because we're going to go back green, and these drivers can now make it from this point on to that checkered flag. So a couple of drivers having to take that wave around. I don't think that's going to be a big issue for them. The only drawback to them is going to be being put on the back end of that lead lap, and you can see those drivers now, and that's Honeycutt, the 61 of Lloyd, Troy Thomas there in the 3. They're going to keep blowing right by the pace car or the pace truck, as you can see now. Andrew Teft taking back over that lead.
Yeah, he said he caught the break of a lifetime with that caution right there. Had that caution come a half a lap prior, he would have been trapped a lap down. He would have been back at the back of the field. But right now, he timed that out perfect. We're getting ready to go back green.
Here we go. Background, and all of those drivers that are on the back end are going to have to really gas this truck up to get back to the back end of this pack. But the 98 truck is going to bring them back to the green flag. They were in the Geico restart zone. The 12 truck on the outside. Andrew with a great start. You're going to see him really hug this yellow line as he has in the past, washing up just a little bit. That 12 truck really on the outside, hanging on to his right rear quarter. 98 truck back to the lead.
Yeah, we'll see if he can check out like he did the last time. He caught that break there at that caution, and Filippo's right there with him still. I mean, not necessarily giving up, but you're seeing Andrew be very, very strong in that middle of the high line on these restarts.
Yeah, Sanfilippo right behind him has that little bit lower entry, getting that clean air on the nose of that truck. As you can see now, Andrew's starting to dive down, getting himself right back to that line that he enjoys to run, which is that first seam up to that second seam, coming back down in that diamond pattern, is going to take this lead. Now he is up 0.4 of a second. As we can see, some of these other drivers trying to work their way back through, as Andrew Teft is going to go purple. Last lap, 21.84, Russ. So Andrew on that loud pedal, trying to turn this thing up and get a gap.
Not holding anything back now. We got to run the back half of this race, and now we need to gap what we had prior and try to pull this thing out.
Yeah, he has certainly found himself the class of the field tonight, going purple here on lap 81. 82 now, not much slower at a 21.91, his purple lap at a 21.84. So he has found something. Temperature starting to drop just a little bit. On the bottom right hand corner, you can see our battle box as we highlight Andrew Teft, but you can see the gap from everybody else around, as that 12 truck of Brandon not allowing Andrew to get too far away as he starts to close this gap in now, only 0.35 of a second here behind.
Yeah, he's not letting Andrew get away right now. He's trying to stay with him just in case, something else were to happen, but he's definitely not letting him get away at this point.
He is not. So Brandon all over that gas pedal. He is going to go purple. Last lap at a 21.82. We're going to ride on board with him. As you can see, really trying to find some spots that 98 truck is not running to find a little bit of speed, but hard on the brake there, not really sliding the front tire, so doing a fantastic job. And he can really see Andrew on the exit of that turn. It looks like that's where this 12 truck really gaining on him, able to get down and make that turn a little bit easier than what the 98 truck is right now, as he's starting to close in. Only 0.2 of a gap, as you can see it here in real time, folks. Russ, he is all over the back bumper, this 98.
Yeah, Brandon might have found something here late in this race, John. I mean, he's been sitting back there kind of just outside the top 5 for the whole race. Maybe he was trying to see what he could find, where he could gain some ground on some trucks. Now he's got himself in that second position, and he might have found something that's going to give him a chance to stay with Andrew here in the late stages. And if Andrew makes a mistake, Brandon will be right there to capitalize.
Yes, he will. Let's go back and take a look at the back end of this field as we're going to check in on Brandon Honeycutt. He was one of your wave around drivers a little bit earlier in the races. Kirby Wainscott's going to grab the wall there on the entry. 13 truck able to make that pass, so put Honeycutt up just another spot. He is going to be in 8th position, trying to find his way back up to the front after having to take that wave around on that caution about midway through this race.
Absolutely. Brandon is one of them ones that he never gives up. He's going to find a way to get back up front. So you just got to make those moves and make it work.
Rowan Lloyd, your pole sitter for this race, still kind of finding his way in the back, still looking for a good line, a good groove that he can run throughout this race. As we're going to go right back up here to this 3rd position. As you can see now, Alex Teff starting to put some pressure on this 01 truck, running that really low line there, Russ, trying to let it come up just a little bit. Sean Dunaway a little loose on the exit of those turns. As you can see now, Alex Teff trying to get himself into podium position here, as he is going to really be able to get in those turns a lot better than that 01 truck is right now.
Yeah, he's making a move on him here. He's trying to see where he could gain some ground on him. We're at 50 to go now, and it's time to start trying to figure out what you can and can't do here.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point, because you think these short tracks, 50 to go, we got 50 laps, we're fine. That is not the case. 50 laps can click off here in a hurry, as we're getting these things done in about 22 seconds, a little bit less than 23 seconds. So that will be no time. As you can see, this battle for the lead is still waging on. Andrew Teff still trying to manage those tires. Sanfilippo not allowing him to get away. This 12 truck was really biding his time all night long, has really found something a little bit late, found a great line, and he is not letting Andrew leave.
He got a great run coming off of that last corner and got right up to his bumper. And I think Brandon might have found something. It's going to be interesting to see if he can get around Andrew here.
I tell you, he is starting to really put a lot of pressure on that 98 truck, as he is going to really stay low in 3 and 4. But what I notice here in 1 and 2, we'll see if he does it again, is putting that truck up against the wall. As you can see now, really getting a good strong run off in 1 and 2. He likes to run that middle lane in 3 and 4, but he's getting such a great run. He's going to touch the right rear quarter panel down the straightaway to try to get a run on this 98 truck, but he is chewing on the back bumper of Andrew Teff, not allowing him to get away. Sean Dunaway starting to close in as well, starting to separate himself from Alex Teff. We have a race showing up here tonight.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Brandon looks like he's got a faster truck than Andrew does. So, he's biding his time. He's trying to see, if Andrew's number 1 is going to make a mistake, or number 2, if he can figure out, okay, maybe I'm going to have to try to make him make a mistake and give me the line that I want, because Andrew's been running a pretty solid line. So Brandon's going to have to make something work here if he wants to get by this 98 truck.
Yeah, I do think that you can see Andrew trying to search around just a little bit, trying to find another line. As you can see him getting a little loose on the exit of that turn. So you can tell he is pushing that truck. This is the closest battle that we have out here on the speedway right now, is going to be your battle for first, as it looks like Andrew has found just a little something. I can tell you, Russ, it seemed like Andrew was getting faster and faster as these laps went along. So it is going to be interesting to see if this 98 truck, now 41 laps to go, is going to be able to hang on to the back end of Andrew, or if Andrew was here saving tire, watching that 12 truck really burn his off, and he's going to start to sneak away.
Oh, that could have been, that could be too. Maybe Andrew was like, all right, I'm going to run it just hard enough to stay in front of you and make you burn your stuff up to make you think you're catching me, and then I'm just going to take off at the end of this thing.
That is quite possible. Julia in the chat there, rooting on that 43 truck of Alex. And Alex has been doing a fantastic job. Right now, he is sitting here in 4th position, right behind Sean Dunaway. He has not allowed this 01 truck to get away too far. But we're going to go right back up here as now this is going to continue to tighten up. It started to spread out just a little bit, but this 12 truck right back on top of the 98. And I can guarantee you Andrew does not want to give up this lead because track position is going to be paramount here with 39 to go.
Oh, 100%. You know, this race is winding down, and you know he's where you want to be at this point. So if Brandon's got something for him, he needs to show it now. And if Andrew's still got something left, he needs to show it now because these laps are clicking off pretty quick, John.
Yeah, it won't be long now. As you can look, 38 laps ago, it's going to be 37. That's about 15 minutes worth of time, but we're going to run down your top 10 real quick as Andrew Teft is your leader. The 12 of Brandon is going to be second. Dunaway is going to be in third. Alex Teft in fourth. Blair Holloman is going to be there in fifth. Archibald is sixth. What a great run for that driver. As we saw him, I believe, about 11th or 12th earlier in this race. Gates is going to be in seventh. Honeycutt's going to be in eighth. Lloyd in ninth. He's worked his way back up from that pole position. He dropped back a little earlier, started to work his way up. And Kirby Wainscott, great run there in the top 10. As it looks like now the 98 truck starting to space this thing out from the 12. The 12 looks like he is now, Russ, starting to search around, trying to find a line, as I believe the line he had is starting to wear tire a little harder, and or he is trying to cool those tires off. But it does look like Andrew has weathered the storm, and now it's coming down to who's got the best tires.
Yeah, you know, Andrew, like you said a little bit ago, maybe he was just saving just a little bit, but he's holding about a half-second lead over the over the 12 right now of San Filippo. But man, you know, short track racing Tuesday night, anything could happen. So Brandon just needs to stay right there with him. Don't let him get too far away. Still give himself a chance to win this thing at the end.
Yeah, about a half second separates that number one driver and the number two truck. But we're going to come right back here to this race where you can see Alex Gates really starting to come into his own, starting to narrow down that gap on the 99 truck. Brandon Honeycutt not too far behind as well, as these drivers are going to start to argue over sixth place on the track, as now you can see Honeycutt's really starting to put some pressure on the 77. It was the 77 coming up and looking at the 99 truck, but it looks like now he is going to have to play a little bit of defense here, Russ.
Yeah, you know, maybe he burned up a little bit trying to catch that 99 truck, and maybe now he's trying to not pay for it, as we see Brandon take a quick look there, but not able to get underneath the 77. But good battle going on here.
Yeah, Brandon really driving it into the turn, as you can see his entry where he's sucking up about a truck and a half on entry. 77 able to really stay calm and don't look down, but Rob Yost right behind San Filippo, or I'm sorry, Honeycutt is going to try to make that pass. I do believe he's come in and got some fresh tires, as you can see him just blow right by the 13 truck. Now he is going to set his sights on the 77 of Alex Gates. So I do believe Rob has come in and got some tires.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rob is a couple laps down, so he's trying to get his laps back at this point. But definitely a lot faster. That definitely shows the speed difference between fresh tires and worn tires.
Yeah, you really can tell, as he is the fastest truck here on the track right now, as he turned a 22.4. As you can see, Honeycutt, the 13 truck, really loose on the exit. What a great run by that driver too last week, Russ, as we look at him again getting loose through the apex of that turn at Lime Rock. Just a great drive by that driver, extremely dominant there at that road course, putting up his third win so far for the season, doing a great job now sitting back here and battling for this 7th position with that 77 truck.
Yeah, you know, last week there at Lime Rock, he kind of got himself into a groove. He found where he was comfortable and how he was comfortable running, and he just kind of checked out, and he didn't really have too much of a fight on his hands. But tonight he looks like he's fighting that loose condition. Maybe he's trying to get himself ready for Eldora in a couple weeks.
Yeah, as you can see now, Julia, this 43 truck starting to put the pressure on this 01 of Sean Dunaway. He is going to dive down. I believe Sean is going to give that position over, put this 43 truck of Alex Teft up into a podium position. So Julia rooting him on there in chat now, finding his way into third, running Sean Dunaway back down, having a lot of right front tire left. He is now about a 3.5 second gap between him and first place, but we still have plenty of laps here, Russ. Don't look now. We still have about 26 laps to go before the finish of this thing.
Yeah, short track racing, 26 to go. It doesn't sound like a lot of time, but we start winding these laps down. Drivers maybe start not being quite so patient. We may see a late yellow or something, or it could go green. But I'm going to tell you what, Brandon Sanfilippo in P2 there has still not let Andrew get too far away. Still about a half-second gap for that lead there.
Oh, just a little bit of blinking issue for the 12 truck, but you are right. He is still right about a half second. That is one wall touch, folks. That is one loose condition, one having to catch that truck and run it up the hills. Now you can see Sanfilippo maybe getting a little bit into the wall. That could be part of his blinking issue, but he is not allowing this truck to go. As now you can see Alex Teft starting to sneak into the picture in the background. I don't believe he has enough time here with 24 to go. Alex Teft still your leader, now up 0.5 of a second, but I got to tell you, from the back end of that truck, Sanfilippo is still right there.
Absolutely. He's not letting him get away. And, like you said, one wall touch, one little rear end snap, something from Andrew, and it's going to put him right there.
Yeah, I do believe that small little wall touch has come from that 12 truck, as you saw him get up into those marbles just a little bit on that last turn, and that was able to give Andrew just a couple of tenths, as now Sanfilippo is going to just hang that truck out on the exit of 4, again, right up into those marbles there through 1 and 2. That might be the line that he is wanting to run. And you can see now 0.8 of a second is Andrew Teft now starting to just kind of space this out as these tires starting to come into play with 22 to go.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Brandon burned him up just a little bit, getting up there in the marbles, getting a little marble on the tires, make them just a little bit tight in, loose out. Definitely losing just a little bit of ground lap after lap to Andrew now.
Yeah, let's watch this battle here. As you can see, Honeycutt now starting to battle Gates. This is the closest battle that we have here on the track. 2/10 separate them, as you can see now here in real time. The 13 really all over the back end of the 77 truck. Honeycutt trying to find a way around Alex Gates. What a great drive by this 77 of Alex. He has done a fantastic job tonight. Honeycutt now getting a great run on the exit of that turn. I believe 77 is going to give that spot over, not to lose any more ground to the driver behind him. Put Honeycutt up in the 7th position now.
Yeah, did you see him getting just a little loose coming out of the corner again? And yeah, I mean, you can never count Brandon out. Like I said, he's still making moves. 19 to go here, but I think if he still wants to have a chance at this, we're going to need a late race caution. But yeah, he's definitely still making moves out there.
Yep. 61 of Rowan Lloyd, your pole sitter here, now starting to eye that 77 of Alex. I do believe Alex has got a little bit of tire wear going on. He's trying to fight that truck to the very end. 18 laps to go. Now the 61 starting to narrow in as your race for the lead now with a pretty decent gap, 1.3 seconds, as it looks like Brandon burning those tires up a little bit earlier. We're going to go back and see, as it looks like he's starting to struggle now. Put this 98 truck with a good visible gap behind him. And I think now for Andrew, it's just make sure that you hit your marks and pray a caution does not come out, because if you nail this thing, you nail each one of these turns, this is a checkered flag for you.
Yeah, absolutely. The tire wear is obviously coming to effect for Brandon. It's unfortunate. He's going to try to hold on for a P2. Alex is still about 2 seconds behind him. But, great race the entire time for Andrew. He's found himself in a nice, comfortable line, and he's just maintained himself there the whole night. And, got really got that lucky break at the caution and put him right back up out front there.
Yeah, your fastest truck all the way throughout the night has been that 98 machine. So certainly very deserving of where he sits so far with 14 laps to go. As you can see, this battle still heating, still being hot here between the 77 and the 61. And it does look like the 61 a little bit quicker than what Alex is right now. But last lap, they were almost tied in lap time. Your fastest driver in the top three has been Alex Teft here for the past couple of laps. So this driver is starting to track down those two up front, but it is a little bit too much of a gap, I believe, for him to do a whole lot. I think he just needs to save some tires, sit right back here, and take home another podium finish for this driver.
Absolutely. Like we said, this regular season is winding down. So points at this point. And, third place in points for the night wouldn't be too shabby on the season standings.
No, we will certainly take that as Rowan Lloyd still working on the 77 truck. This is your closest battle here on the field. You can see Andrew Teft again, almost up 2 seconds now from that 12 truck to 12. What a great battle, Russ. He really fought hard to try to get that lead early on, showed a ton of speed, but I think Andrew just really weathering that storm, taking care of his tires, and you're going to start to see that now in the lap times as Brandon is starting to fall back just a little by little every single lap here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming to 10 to go, and at this point, Andrew just needs to make sure he hits his marks, doesn't get on the throttle too soon, and bring this puppy home with a W.
Yeah, he is now looking at a 2.1. Last lap, a 22.87. He is second place of 23.05, third place of a 23.12. So he is faster than the two drivers that are directly behind him. We're going to go on board with this driver and take a look at how he was doing. And again, just nice and comfortable in that truck, never really getting rattled with that 12 truck behind him fighting. And he is just out for a Sunday cruise at this point, now up 2.3 seconds over the 12.
Yep, just running the same line almost the entire night and very comfortable there all night long.
Yeah, he really did find a great line and good tire saving line for him. And he has just been calm. One of those things that you can really tell about a driver is really how when they start to get that pressure, how do they drive? So he felt that pressure from the 12 truck behind him. It's how did he manage it? How did he manage his tires through there? Did he stay calm? Did he overdrive the truck? And I can tell you right now, from what we're seeing, he took that very well and stayed inside of himself, drove the race that he had to drive, and here you are up about 2.4 seconds with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers I know that, they say, oh, I never look in my mirror. I never look in my mirror. Maybe that's what Andrew did tonight. Maybe he never looked in his mirror so that he didn't end up overdriving his truck and cooking them tires, because he's still, 6 laps to go. He's still pulling away just a little bit from Brandon and P2 there.
Yeah, he is certainly faster than those other two drivers behind him every single lap. As now we're going to go right back here with this battle that has been waging on and is now getting hotter and hotter as Roman Lloyd in that 61 truck trying to find his way around Alex Gates in the 77. We have 5 laps to go, and these two drivers are tied together here as you can barely fit a nose of another truck in between the two. As now the 61 is going to start peering down to the bottom of the left-hand quarter of the 77 truck. He's there, Russ.
Trying to make some last minute positions up if he can. He gets a good run coming off, but he can't quite get it done on entry there.
Yeah, that truck just a little tight, and he's having to back off a little bit through the center of those turns and the apexes. He needs that truck to be able to wash up. He needs all of that truck to run a great lap time, and the 77 is just there on the outside of him running a great defensive line. This is going to be a job and a task to try to get behind and past this 77 truck. He has to wait, I believe, for a mistake from the 77.
Yeah, I think so too. He's just got to make sure he doesn't overdrive. It looked like he got a little bit loose on entry there. It looked like maybe he just tried to drive it in just a little bit too hard there. But yeah, just got to hope for a slight mistake out of that 77 truck. But it's going to be really hard to try to make a pass right now.
Yeah, I don't believe that is going to happen. As now you can look, I don't know if desperation is going to pop in, but we're going to go right back up here to this driver because I got to tell you, starting and we have the white flag in the air, starting and not wasting any time taking the lead there. I believe he started about fourth on the field, finding his way to the front. He never really relinquished it until we had that caution about midway through this race, found his way back up to the front, took a fight from that 12 truck. But here he is, Andrew Teff, taking the checkered flag here at IRP, 140 laps in the books. Russ, put this thing down. Andrew Teft coming home as your leader. The 12 truck with a great drive, just not enough there. Coming home in second, and Alex Teft in third. What a great drive by this 98 truck, as he is going to get a congratulations by the 12, and you're going to see him start to burn this thing down.
Yeah, right from the get-go, lap one, turn three, Andrew showed that he had a lot of speed, and he took that lead coming out of turn four, and he never looked back. He had such a great race tonight, so smooth, so methodical on his inputs. A great and well-deserved win by Andrew Teff tonight.
It really was. What a great job by this driver, as he is going to burn this thing down and do as many donuts as he can. Who cares about the engine? We'll put another one in it for next week. So just go ahead and blow that one up. So he done and just like you said, Russ, really just taking that lead early on. He didn't really waste any time. He wasn't very patient. He wanted to be aggressive. He got the lead, got out front, and just started to walk away from this field. So really the class of the field tonight, your fastest driver, your fastest truck won this race.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, we're just going to stay on top, and we're going to watch him burn this thing down. Andrew Teft, your owner of Racers Elite, finding a way to get this thing done, and he didn't luck into this one, Russ. He drove his way to a win tonight. Very, very impressive drive by this guy.
100%. Right from the get-go, like I said, he showed that he was the one to beat, and he got it done tonight.
All right, so let's see if we can't get your drivers out here, as we are going to, before we try to pull these drivers up and have a conversation with them, I believe we're going to show your finishing results. We do have the results in, and so let's see if we can't pop this up for you. Andrew Teft, your winner. Brandon coming in second. Alex Teft in third. Dunaway in fourth. Blair Holloman fifth. Archibald in sixth. Honeycutt finishing seventh. Alex Gates in eighth. Rowan in ninth. And Kirby Wayscott rounding out your top 10.
Troy Thomas comes home in 11th. Ruth Oak had a couple little bit of mishaps out there tonight. Going to bring it home in P12. Curtis Ecker, 13th. Rob Yost, Jesse Fox going to round out the field tonight.
What a fantastic job. But let's see if we can't get these drivers up here in the booth. So let's see if we've got Mr. Alex Teft, and let's see if we can't pull up his details so that we can see him right here. And it does look like we've got Andrew in the waiting room. Let's see if we can find our way through to Alex. Let's see. There is Alex. I'm going to pull him in now. Alex, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, man, fantastic race. Coming home P3. First of all, tell me how the track was. It looked like it was really loose on exit, and it was really hard on the right front tire. So walk me through how this track ran tonight.
For the most part, yeah, you're definitely right with the loose off. Definitely had to do a lot of throttle control. It was really tight in the center too, especially in the dirty air. It was incredibly hard to pass. I'm sure you could tell that as well. You really couldn't get any runs on anybody. And once you were, you would gain a few tenths, and then you would, get tight behind the guy in front of you, and you would lose the few tenths, and you just back and forth all race. But overall, there was plenty of grip, except for corner exit.
Yeah, it did look like corner exit was going to be a problem for most of the drivers tonight, and I do think that's where that throttle control really come into play and helped you, because it looked like, Sean with a really good run on that last green flag stint, able to jump out to a little bit of a lead, but you were able to run him back down. And just like you said, really, really difficult to pass on this track. Did you know when you were starting to run him down, did you think, hey, I'm going to have to get this thing down to this yellow line to pass him, or did you really have a plan, or were you just kind of waiting on Sean to open a hole for you?
Pretty much, I was just being patient as I could. Then I finally got beside him, and then he essentially let me go. But I pulled the slider just in case because I didn't know he was gonna just let me go. But I'm sure it looked much cooler on the broadcast than it really needed to be.
No, it was very cool, and you did a fantastic job. I know Julia was there in the chat cheering you on, so we certainly appreciate that. Fantastic run here, coming home in P3. Alex, we're going to turn it over to you and let you give your shout outs.
Definitely want to thank you guys of the Races Elite Network putting on these broadcasts for us. Thank the League Races Elite. Thank the fans and my friends that watch it all the time, and my fiance Julia.
Fantastic run for you, coming home in P3. Alex Teft. Alex, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
All right, there he is, Russ, your third place driver. And now I'm going to pull Brandon up, and you are more than welcome to have that interview with him. So let's see if we can find him here. And that is Brandon. Brandon, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I do, guys.
All right, go right ahead,
Hey, man.
Russ.
I was say, hey, man, you had a kind of a even-ish out night at the beginning there. You were running just kind of like outside the top five, but then after that caution came out and pit stops, man, you were you were hanging right there with Andrew for quite a while, usually keeping that gap right around about a half a second. Take us back through your race, and do you think maybe there was anything you could have done just a little bit differently to try to get this win tonight?
Yeah, lucked out with that pit strategy. I figured, if there's going to be a caution, it's probably going to be when people are pitting and exiting and cold tires. So I just tried to stay out as long as possible, and luckily that fell in my lap and put me in P2 on that restart. But yeah, I knew Andrew was the fastest out here, so my goal was just to mimic his line. Worked for like the first half of that, second half of the race or that second run, but yeah, he just had a line that I couldn't mimic, and I was apexing too late a little bit, and it was killing my runs off, and then I just started plowing and losing consistency. So hats off to him. He's definitely got this place figured out, but I'm happy with the P2, and looks like I'm the latest victim of the Tef sandwich.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, you can't ever shake your head at a P2. We'll go ahead and turn it over to you and let you give your shout outs and thank anybody that you need to thank.
Yeah, just everybody who's always watching. Cousin John, all my San Filippo cousins out there, my parents, my girlfriend, my brother, sister-in-law, the Carosa family, Shoe Flows, Pangborns, anybody else. If I'm missing you, just give me a friendly reminder sometime. But yeah, just appreciate everybody who watches. Appreciate you guys putting on a killer broadcast. It's a lot of fun to go back and rewatch it. And then all the drivers, Driving Extreme Incorporated, our teammates, a lot of fun racing with them. And Andrew for putting on the league, doing all that work behind the scenes there.
Well, hey, man, great run tonight. You had a great battle there with Andrew for the longest time, but P2 tonight, good points tonight, good run tonight, man. Have a good one. Thanks.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
There you have it, your second place driver of Brandon, and he kind of said it best, I think, there, Russ, where he just was trying to mimic that line and couldn't quite get it done. But let's see if we can pull this driver up to the booth that has won this thing. And Andrew, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Andrew. So really the most dominant truck all night long. It looked like you did not waste any time jumping out to the lead. Really saved your tires. I thought you saved your tires, did a fantastic job, really hitting that initial seam, letting that truck drift up to that middle seam, come back down. Throughout that, I really think that saved that right front and even the right rear on the tires on this truck. And then they called a caution. I'll tell you, you were about a half a corner away from having to work your way through the field, but that caution fell perfectly for you. And then you had quite a battle with the 12 truck, but started to pull away late. So walk me through your race.
Yeah, that was about a perfect description there. But yeah, I wasn't sure on the stop. I think I I could take the front row like I did and be on like 7-lap old tires. I wasn't sure if it would matter, or take 4 and probably be at the tail end of the lead lap guys. So I opted to take the front row, and San Filippo was pretty quick there for a while. Like I didn't want to run too hard at the start, but I didn't want to let him by either because it's kind of hard to pass here. So just kind of tried to keep him like a half second back for a while, and then toward the end I ran a little bit harder. But yeah, I put up a heck of an effort there, and wasn't sure if Alex might run me down for a second, or at least get close.
Yeah, once he was able to get by Sean, he showed a little bit of speed. I do believe that he burnt that right front up just a little bit too much, and he wasn't able to do that. One of the things that I noticed as we were going to the inside of the truck and watching everybody run is, you were really patient through the apex of the turn, which created a nice, solid, straight drive out of the turns. And you didn't have to counter steer like a lot of people were putting a lot of throttle in it. They were having to counter steer out. And I think lap after lap after lap, just that consistency really started to beat those drivers. And man, on those back 20, 30 laps of these runs, just a really dominant performance. Congratulations on a really great win here at IRP, Andrew. We'll turn it over to you, man. Let you give your shout outs.
Yeah, it's funny you picked up on it, but I go to a lot of New Hampshire races, and they always lay down the 2 separate lanes of PJ1. That's kind of how I picture the seams there, how I use them. And you can just kind of find a lot of speed the way you transition between them in the corners. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for putting on the show as always. You always do a fantastic job here at Racers Elite Network. Make sure you subscribe, hit that subscribe button. I want to thank our servicemen and women, my team, my family, friends, everybody that tunes in to watch and shows up to race. And if you're interested in checking us out, just head on over to racerselite.com.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job. Congratulations on the win. I think this is going to be shaping up. Now, remember, in 2 weeks, we go to dirt. So that's going to be a fantastic race as well. So just like you said, if anybody wants to check us out, make sure that you go and check out our Facebook and our website. So, Andrew, thank you again, and congratulations on your win.
Yep, thanks, guys.
And there you have it. My goodness, what a great race. Russ, really the most dominant truck here tonight. Had that line, really enjoyed that line, found a way to save those tires, and was just the strongest truck all night long.
Yeah, absolutely. We said it right from the get-go. He showed speed. He showed that he had the tenacity, if you will, to go ahead and shoot that and make that move early. Short track racing, normally it could be a kind of a barn burner of a race, but tonight was pretty calm for the most part. I was, pleasantly surprised to see. I think we only had 2 cautions all night long and 140 laps. So great race by all these drivers. Congratulations to the top 3. Congratulations to the winner, Andrew Duff, tonight.
Yeah, and just like you said, if you are, really give us a thumbs up, give us a like there on the Racers Elite Network. We will be back tomorrow. Russ, you and I are going to start calling this Xfinity Series. Super stoked about that. We will be back tomorrow at the same time to bring you another fantastic race by Racers Elite Network. Andrew Teft, your winner tonight. Brandon coming home in second. Alex Teft in third. Those are your top 3. Those are your podium finishers. We will be back next week at Richmond, and then the next week we are going to hit these trucks on dirt. Can't wait for that. Russ, thank you very much. Certainly appreciate you joining me in the booth, and we thank everybody a good night.